Rob, I think this was all a big misunderstanding. I appeal to your conscience and to you as a gentleman to please let us...
Barack, just shut up. You should know by now that I don't have a conscience.
Then I'll appeal to your respect for law and order. Does this seem legal to you?
Everything is legal for a maverick.
Okay, well, how about the general love that people feel toward all mankind?
The fuck?
All right, I didn't plan on pulling out the big guns, but you really don't want to be found having kidnapped the current president along with 2 former presidents, do you?
In theory, no, but I never really believed that whole president bit.
What do you mean you don't believe it? Are you saying you don't think we've been presidents?
Of course not. Hey, Joe Biden,
Yes, Master Rob, how may I serve you in order to not draw your wrath?
tell me what the typical day in the life is for a president.
Oh, that's easy. I usually start out by staying in bed until at least 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Got to get my beauty sleep after all. Then I get up and hop on Discord with Barack and Donald. We either make a tier list or play a game together, something like Minecraft or Resident Evil. That is, if we're not already having some kind of adventure like going to college.
Barack, are you really going to sit there and keep telling me that man runs a country?
To be fair, I never said he ran a country. I just said he was president. It's a small but important difference.
Fine, play the semantics game all you want, but I'm still not letting you guys go.
Great work, Barack. Your smart-ass remarks probably earned us extra beatings.
Hey, why are you talking like it's my fault that we're here? You're the one who drove away from the traffic stop.
If I remember correctly, you were the one screaming drive.
He's right, Barack. In one of my infrequent bouts of coherent consciousness, I do seem to recall you telling him to drive.
Thanks, Joe. And even if you hadn't, what else was I supposed to do when the literal Grim Reaper rolled up to my window? It was like a real-life jump scare. In fact, if we make it out of this alive, I'll probably call Konami and tell them about it. It'd be great for the next Silent Hill game.
Can you 3 shut up? I'm trying to cut off a semi and I need to focus.
Fine, but can you at least tell us how much longer it'll be until we get to the police station?
Police station? What makes you think we're going there?
I mean, don't police officers generally bring people they arrest back to the station?
Probably, but how should I know? It's not like I'm a cop or anything.
Rob, are you having a fucking stroke? If you're not a cop, why did you pull us over earlier and why are we in a cop car?
Oh, this thing? I stole it, so I could enact my own justice on the terrors of this city, people like you. I haven't had much else to do after Rutgers fired me for briefly being the leader of a hate group. I can't believe you dimwits actually thought I could be hired as a cop. What a joke. Even the police state believes my methods are cruel and extreme.
I'm a little afraid to ask, but if we're not going to a police station, where are we going?
You should be very afraid to ask. It's a little hideaway I have, far from any prying eyes. I have been there making podcasts to help keep the lights on, and James stays there too whenever he's not filming some piece of crap.
I feel I've said this many times in the past year, but this is probably the end. Joe, I'll miss you, and I hope God lets aliens into heaven. Barack, it's been a good run, but I think it's clear that we're going to different places.
I'd have to agree with that statement, but I doubt we're thinking quite the same thing.
And if we're all about to die, there's only one thing left to do. So Joe, hurry up and finish telling us your story.
I thought you'd never ask. I guess for time's sake, I should skip the recap.
No, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. Give us that recap.
You know, I actually had a fun idea for the final recap.
You did?
Yeah, I was thinking that we could do it together, like each of us tells a bit of the story so far.
Sounds like a logistical nightmare, but I'm game.
Well, it's decided then. I guess I'll start us off. The year was 1912, and while on the run from the authorities, I found myself in Queenstown, Ireland.
But he wasn't destined to stay there for long because there was a police officer hot on his trail.
That was when Joe ran into a really rich guy named Reginald Todford III, who offered him his extra ticket aboard the Titanic.
It seemed like all my problems were solved. But not long into that first night, I realized that I wasn't exactly free because the police officer got on the ship at the last second, bringing along a waitress who could identify me.
At the same time, my grandfather, Onyango Obama,
And my grandfather, Frederick Trump.
became fast friends with the goal of getting my grandfather some white woman muff.
A goal that ended in heartbreak when the waitress stood on Yango up.
And at the same time, I found myself trapped in the Titanic's prison because I did something in the Turkish bath.
But all these problems soon became nothing when the Titanic hit the iceberg.
Frederick went searching for Onyango for Frederick, and the cop for Joe, while Reginald laid some pipe in the waitress.
And after some shenanigans, we all found ourselves at the grand staircase as the ship began to tilt, and the Titanic's final plunge began.
All right, everyone, quiet down. We have 2 more spots in a lifeboat.
I'll take
Oi,
it.
let me in there.
Shut up, you lot. As always, the boats are for women or children only. You're Englishmen, for God's sake. Now act like it.
Chief Officer Wilde, there are 2 women back here who look like they could use those spots.
Good eye, Moody. Call them over and...
Did I hear you are looking for a pair of lovely ladies?
Oh, not in those words exactly, but yes.
Well, it doesn't get much lovelier than us, but I have to warn you that all this beauty is just for the eyes. If you think you can touch, you have another thing coming.
What do you think, Chief Officer? We only have 2 spots. Who should they go to? These ladies or the women over there?
Ladies, do you have people back at home who depend on you? Husbands, children?
Oh yes, I have a very loving husband named Arnold Rothingham IV. He is the Earl of North Rothingham, and we share 4 adorable children.
Personally, I have a son back home who's in desperate need of some motherly affection, and that's not even a lie.
Well, Chief Officer, we can't dawdle. The ship probably only has another half an hour.
Okay, ladies, come this way.
Thank you very much, Chief Officer Wilde. The Earl shall be most pleased by my survival.
That goes double for me, and to be honest, my no-touch rule is pretty flexible.
All right, Joe Biden, enough games, enough shenanigans. Just come to me and accept your death like a man.
I would, but I'm not 100% sure I'm a man.
What, really? I have to say I genuinely couldn't tell. Is that bulge just a prosthetic or something then?
No, that's not what I meant.
What did you mean then?
Well,
Maybe he's a third gender like the Mudoko Dako people of Uganda.
The what now?
They're effeminate men of the Lango ethnic group who marry other men and are often treated like females.
Onyango, the more you tell me about Africa, the less I believe it's a real place.
Shut up! All of you! I mean, do you even hear yourselves? We're on a sinking ship heading to the bottom of the ocean, and I feel like I'm the only one who has his priorities straight.
Real great priorities you have there. Choosing to let yourself die over some bloke who likely only has a few months to live as it is. Sorry, but you're pretty old after all.
no offense taken. I'm actually even older than you'd think.
Lyla, I made my choice, and I want you to respect that. Now go up on deck and get in a lifeboat.
I'm not doing anything you tell me to do, Robert.
Lyla, listen to me and get in a boat.
Why should I? Maybe I'll just throw my life away too.
Don't do something stupid just because you're stubborn.
That's a laugh coming from you. But even if I did, why would you care?
Because
what?
Because God, don't make me say it. Just get in a fucking boat while there's still time.
No, Robert, I want you to say it, or I'm staying right here.
Jesus, fuck me.
Well, are you going to say it? It's probably something about me being in the way of your splatter zone, or I'm just an eyesore. Or maybe it's because...
It's because I care about you, for fuck's sake.
Egads, I knew you wanted to lie with my darling Lyla. Sir, I do believe I'll have to challenge you to fisticuffs.
Don't be stupid. I've never had sappy romantic feelings for anyone in my entire life. And if I did, it'd be for a sturdy and hardy woman like my wife back in England, not some frail tuberculosis patient like Lyla.
Fuck, Robert. Great way to show you care about me.
Believe it or not, but I do. I can't explain it. It happened somewhere along the line. Maybe it was when you helped us get into the dining room that first night. Or when you helped me find Joe Biden. Or maybe just because of the way you stood up to me like no one else had ever done. It doesn't matter when. All that matters is I soon started to find myself caring about you in silly little ways, like whether you lived or died. So I ask you once again, Lyla, please go up on deck and get in a lifeboat.
Robert, I don't know what to say.
Hey, man with 2 brain cells and 1 on vacation, bring her up on deck for me and make sure she gets in a lifeboat.
Okay, I will, but not for you.
You're leaving, Reginald?
Yes, Mr. Josen, I'm sorry. I know I promised that I'd be your spy assistant, but making sure my fiancée is safe is more important right now.
Don't worry, it's cool, and in the likely scenario that we never see each other again, I should thank you. I would have never gotten this far without you. I also would have never been on a sinking ship, so it's more of a thanks with an asterisk, I guess. Oh, also, I'm not actually a spy. That was all a lie.
Haha, Mr. Josen. That's just what a spy would say.
Well, I tried being honest for once in my life. That's good enough.
If you're done saying goodbye to a dead man, get going.
Fine, Robert, I'll go, but you come along too.
No can do, Lyla. I have unfinished business here, and they wouldn't even let a man like me into a lifeboat anyway.
No, that's not true. Officer Murdoch said.
Lyla, let's go.
No, Reginald, we can't leave without him.
Lyla, go.
No.
Lyla.
Robert, come along, please.
Dumbass, take her away already.
No. Robert. Robert.
Robert!
Goodbye, Lyla. This is for the best.
Wow, you aren't exactly the heartless monster you pretend to be, are you?
Oh no, I am. Joe Biden, kneel before me to accept your fate.
Okay, it seems that I have no other choice at this point.
Oh man, you can't be serious. After all this, you're just gonna let him kill you?
I've been running for so long. I can't keep doing it forever, and let's not forget the reality of this sinking. It's women and children first, isn't it? The odds of my getting into a lifeboat at this point are slim to none.
I'm glad that in the end you're at least exhibiting some sense.
But before you kill me, can you let me say one more thing?
Oh, what is it?
I just wanted to say that I learned a lot these past few days. I learned about friendship and love and that it's a lot harder to saw through the hull of a ship than it looks like. But the most important thing I learned was about patriotism.
Patriotism? What the fuck are you talking about?
The way you have relentlessly pursued me can be attributed to no other cause than a true and abiding love for one's country.
Not really. I mostly do it for the thrill.
Be that as it may, it's made me realize that I haven't been nearly patriotic enough. And if these are my last minutes of life, I want to change that. So, if you'll allow me, I wish to say the Pledge of Allegiance one last time.
Go right fucking ahead, what do I care?
Well, you see, and you wouldn't know this being from England or whatever, but it's customary that when someone is saying the Pledge of Allegiance, that everyone else in the room closes their eyes.
What? I've never heard that before.
Shut up, Frederick. Don't you see what he's trying to do?
Oh.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. And he's right about the Pledge of Allegiance thing. You're supposed to close your eyes.
Yeah, it's like a super famous rule.
That's really stupid, but whatever, I'll close my eyes. Just get it over with.
Great, thank you. So where should I begin? Probably the beginning. Let's see. I pledge allegiance to my flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Weird how you got quieter at the end. So, can I open my eyes? Huh, I can't believe I fell for something that stupid. This story is ridiculous.
You've been listening, Rob?
Of course I've been listening. We're in the same car. How could I not have heard Joe's bizarre mumblings?
You should do what I do when I drive. Put on soundproof headphones, VR goggles, and play some Resident Evil 7.
Jesus, Donald, you actually do that?
Relax, Barack. I have a Tesla, so it drives itself. And I really only do it when my family's in the car, so what's the worst that could happen if I crashed?
Definitely keep doing that, Donald. It sounds like a good idea to me.
See, Barack, even Rob agrees it's fine.
I don't think Rob has your best interest at heart, Donald.
Way to ruin my fun, Barack.
Hey, Rob, I just thought of something. Does this character of Robert sound familiar to you at all?
Not really. Why would he?
Barack, are you still trying to discredit Joe? I thought the fact we did the recap together meant you were done with that.
Donald, let me cook for once. I'm just wondering, Rob, if you think you might be related to him, like he could be your grandfather or great-grandfather.
Be honest with yourself, Barack. Do I seem like the kind of person who spends a lot of time on Ancestry.com?
Barack, he clearly doesn't know. Just get back to the story, Joe.
Watch your step as you enter the boat, please. We don't want any of our valuable passengers falling.
Officer Murdoch.
Yes, Mr. Isme?
We're almost out of boats, aren't we?
Unfortunately so. I don't know about the lifeboats on the port side, but all in all, I'd guess there are no more than 2 or 3 left, as well as the collapsibles.
And how many people would you say are still on board?
Likely in excess of 1,500 souls, Mr. Isme.
1,500 people are going to their deaths, and who will they hang it all on? The White Star Line, that's who. I can already see the newspapers. They'll be filled with caricatures of Captain Smith and me and you, all looking like absolute buffoons with graves at our feet.
Mr. Isme, the most a man can ever do is his best.
Quite right, but God, if you must kill a man, why must you also slander his name?
Mr. Isme, I know it must be hard, but please excuse me. I have a boat to lower. You're ready to go. Lower away. And Godspeed to you all.
Oh, fuck me, they can call me a murderer and crook all they like, but I'm not going down with this ship.
Mr. Isme, where are you going? The boats are still for women and children only. Mr. Isme? A coward dies 1,000 deaths, but a brave man only one. Die your 1,000 deaths, Mr. Isme. I'll be more than content with my one.
At the end of this next hall, we need to take a right.
Hold up for a second. Can you explain to me why we're running away from the boat deck, as opposed to, toward it?
He's clearly leading us down some secret passage no one could have possibly known about that will lead us to the boat deck, while tricking that maniac into thinking we're going elsewhere.
No, that's not it. I'm just trying to get back to my room.
Onyango, I'm starting to get the feeling that we shouldn't have blindly followed the old man who is wanted by the law.
No, I have a really good reason for it. Trust me. There are a few things in my suitcase that will guarantee us a spot on a lifeboat.
It better be some gold bars to bribe the officers, because I can't imagine there are many lifeboats left at this point.
If that's the case, we need to hurry. Come on.
They stopped here briefly. I can smell it. But which way did they go? All this water is making it hard for my nose to tell. Was it right or left? Right or left? I can't get this wrong. All my instincts that I've honed over the years are telling me they went right. But what good are those instincts? They led me to close my eyes during the pledge of fucking allegiance, so hesitantly, I'm gonna say they went left.
Oh, it seems I made a wrong turn. Where is my head tonight?
How could I have let this happen?
Excuse me, is there someone else here? Oh, Mr. Andrews.
Evening, Captain Smith.
Mind if I join you?
No, not at all. I was just...
Just what?
I was thinking about how if I had only fully closed the bulkheads, the worst that'd have happened is we'd need to be towed back to port.
Dwelling, I see. I've been doing a lot of that myself tonight. Personally, I've been thinking about how if I had chosen the southern route, we'd never have seen icebergs in the first place, or if I had heeded the reports, or if I had us going slower.
Maybe so, but I still could have raised the bulkheads.
And the British Board of Trade could have demanded ships carry enough lifeboats for every passenger, or Mr. Isme could have had us carry that many of his own free will. A million things could have prevented this disaster, and both the living and the dead will have to answer for them.
My daughter, Milne. She's not even 2 years old yet. I brought her to see Titanic once. When I close my eyes, I can still picture her cute, chubby little face and her long clothes as I held her, pointed to the ship, and said, "Your daddy made that." Do you think that when she grows up that she'll be able to forgive me, not only for all the lives, but for leaving her as well?
Do we ever truly forgive our parents?
Maybe not.
I think that what is far more important than whether others can forgive us is whether we can forgive ourselves.
What do you mean, Captain Smith?
You were a good shipbuilder, weren't you, Mr. Andrews? You cared about doing your job well, and you never intended to create a ship that would sink?
No, much the opposite. I wanted to create a ship that could never sink, or nearly never.
Then, at most, you made a mistake.
A bloody costly mistake.
A mistake, nonetheless, something you should be able to forgive yourself for, and in, I don't know, say 100 years, people in general may be able to forgive you too.
What about you, Captain Smith? Can you forgive yourself?
That is a much harder question. It's one thing to build an imperfect ship. It's rather another to crash one. I don't know, Mr. Andrews. I truly don't know.
This is the last call for Lifeboat 4. Are there any more women or children who want to get into a lifeboat? All right, good. You can lower away.
Hold that boat. I have another woman for you.
Stop lowering that boat! You sure cut it close, ma'am. Now in you go.
No, I can't.
Lyla, you have to get into that lifeboat. You have to save yourself.
Reginald, I've already lost Robert. I can't lose you too. It'd kill me.
I think you're a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for, Lyla.
No, I'm not. I can't go alone. I'll stay here if I have to.
Lyla, you need to go, and I need to stay.
But why? There has to be a way for you to come too. I could punch this guy, or you could jump onto the boat at the last second, or...
Lyla, I am not so vain that I would disgrace myself just to save my life.
Ma'am, the boat has to go. Are you coming?
Reginald, please.
Lyla, I love you. Now go.
That's enough of that, ma'am. Come along.
Reginald,
Goodbye, Lyla.
Hey, Joe, can you give me a second?
Sure thing, pal, but what for?
I just need to collect myself for a minute.
Donald, are you crying right now?
No, of course not, Barack. I'm a grown man. I haven't shed a tear in 50 years.
If you're not crying, then turn to us.
Not now. There's a really beautiful blue jay outside, and I don't want to miss it.
We're going 80 miles an hour on the highway at night. You couldn't possibly see a blue jay.
Fine, Barack. Call me out like an asshole, why don't you? I'll have you know that it's very manly to cry.
What's got you so worked up, buddy?
It's Reginald and Lyla. It's devastating to see them part. The fact that you two aren't crying as well just shows that you're heartless.
If you ask my opinion, I'd say she's better off without that dullard.
Fuck you, Rob, seriously. What would you know about true love?
Love? Nothing. But I know a thing or two about fine-ass bitches, and Lyla is clearly a dime piece, and shawties should never waste their time with weak men. Now, if you boys will excuse me, I need to take a piss in the woods. Don't you even try to leave.
Okay, let's talk strategy. How are we getting out of this mess?
Barack, I don't think I could think about a single thing until Joe finishes the story.
Rob is only going to be gone for a few minutes tops. We can't waste time.
How about we call someone?
That's a good idea, but Rob took our phones.
He didn't take mine because he thinks I don't know how to use it, which I don't, but it was still kind of mean of him to think.
That's great. Take it out, Joe.
Who should we call?
Call Todd and tell him about the heroic sacrifice of his ancestor.
No, we can't waste this call, so how about...
Hey, it's me. Georgie, where are you?
Oh, fiddlesticks, you didn't tell me you were coming over early. The roast just went in the oven and I'm a complete mess.
Don't worry, you look great. I can see those workout DVDs Kim sent you are really paying off.
Huh, you think? Well, I am hitting it harder than an Ohio Riz, as the kids would say. Now, who could that be at this hour? Joey, is there a problem?
Hello, is this thing on? It's Joseph Biden, the alien who currently serves as the 46th President of the United States and who holds the 89th fastest run of Resident Evil 3 on speedrun.com. Am I speaking with George Bush?
Joe, give that to me. George, it's Barack. We need your help.
Barry, what seems to be the issue? I'm currently having dinner with my boyfriend and there is a roast in the oven.
You're having dinner? It's the middle of the night.
Hey, I don't criticize your life choices, so don't criticize mine.
You're right. I'm sorry. We've been kidnapped by Rob and... Hello? Hello? Joe, your phone just died. When was the last time you charged it?
What do you mean I have to charge it? Can't I just pick up a new pack of double A's from Walmart?
Goodness, Joe, you really need to see a doctor. Your mind is getting worse and worse.
I hope you boys behaved. Now tell us what happened next, Joe. I hope this Robert guy caught you.
Leave the door open. I'll just be a second.
Hey, old man, whatever you're looking for better be worth it, because I really don't want to be a Frederick Trump-flavored ice pop.
That goes double for me, because I don't even know how to swim.
You don't? That makes a lot of sense, not gonna lie.
I found my suitcase, but it's soaked. I hope the stuff inside stayed dry. It did. We're in business, boys.
Finally. Okay, let's see the reason you made us run all this way.
Well, here it is. Check it out.
Oh.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting.
Joe Biden, are you down here? Where could they be? Clearly not here. Oh, Lyla, I hope that imbecile got you to a lifeboat. You deserve to live. And you deserve to live in a good world without scum like Joe Biden. That's why I can't give up now. Wherever he is, I'll find him. Even if I have to swim back to shore and catch him on land. While I'm down here, I better find a life belt to prepare myself for that possibility.
You four are the last remaining officers aboard the ship. I'm saddened to see your faces, for we all know what that means. Each of you has done far more than could ever be expected of an officer, as well as a man, and regardless of the outcome tonight, I know that history will see you as heroes. All the wooden lifeboats have been launched, leaving only the collapsibles and barely any time to retrieve them. As my final order, I ask you to do your best to launch them and fill them with whatever passengers you can. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve with you all. Now it's every man for himself.
Hell on fire. It's really going to sink, isn't it?
Aye. I did this. It's all my fault. Please forgive me, everyone. Please forgive me.
No, Mr. Fleet. I don't think a single man could sink a ship like that. Heck, I don't even know if a single god could.
Phew, this night has been rough, but now all we have to do is chill until we're brought to America. Then we can head up to Boston and get our Red Sox on. Speaking of, you've got the tickets, right?
I thought you had the tickets, friend Bohayan. I left them on your bedside table.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. What do you think the odds they'll row us back to the ship to grab them are?
Robert, Reginald. Oh, please find a way off the ship.
Damn you, someone pick up, we know you're there.
God, Jack, the room is starting to flood. This is the end.
It's not the end until that bastard on the Californian receives our message.
Face it, Jack, we're going down. We're going down and no one is coming to save us. Captain.
Captain, I'm sending out the SOS like you requested. Hopefully the Californian or some other ship will...
That is quite enough, Mr. Phillips. There is no point holding out for another ship at this point. I am declaring every man for himself.
But Captain Smith, there are still so many people aboard, if there is even a slim chance.
Mr. Phillips, in only a few more minutes, this ship and those people will be at the bottom of the sea. Hope is a very valuable thing, but it's wise for a man to know when it's lost.
Captain.
Mr. Bride, I wish I would have done things differently. Perhaps age and experience aren't all they're cracked up to be. If only that was a lesson I'd learned sooner.
Thank you for saying that, Captain. And if you're willing to learn it for even a little bit, I think Jack and I would like to try just a while longer.
As you wish, Mr. Bride. Goodbye, gentlemen. May one or two of us once again set foot on land.
Well, keep going, Jack.
Oh, right.
Finally, a life belt. Well, don't mind if I do.
Hey, you. What are you doing here?
Just taking this life belt. Why?
You can't take that. That's Jack's. Hey, Jack. This guy is trying to take your life belt.
What? Hey, chap, what do you think you're doing?
Do I have a fucking stutter? I said I was taking this life belt.
No bloody way. If you think I'm going out in the water with no life belt because of your dumb ass, you have another thing coming.
You don't understand. I'm a police officer from England who's chasing down a notorious criminal. I need this life belt.
You don't sound very English to me.
Yeah, but the American accent is a conscious affectation I've adopted, so everyone knows I'm a maverick.
Listen, I don't care if you're the fucking king, you're not taking my life belt.
Well, what are you gonna do about it?
Come on, Harold, let's kick this fucking guy's ass.
Kick my ass? I'd like to see you try.
Oh yeah, you like that, don't you, you piece of shit?
We've been working all night to try to save you, asshole. And this is what you do?
Some fucking people have no manners.
Okay, Jack, I think we can stop. He's out cold.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck me, this guy wasted our time. I think we need to abandon ship now. Let's go.
You've all done a commendable job tonight.
Wait, what the fuck was that?
Rob, are you okay?
No, of course I'm not fucking okay. Are you telling me that Robert was really beaten up by a pair of weaklings left to die on the floor of the radio room?
Seemingly so, yes.
I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it.
Rob, I think you need to calm down. It's just a story.
No, it's not just a story, Barack. It's a taunt. It's a narrative concocted by the evil and twisted mind of Joe Biden as a form of mental warfare.
Rob, weren't you just saying that Joe is basically no smarter than an empty pillowcase?
Yes, but it's clear I've been wrong. I assumed that Barack, or maybe Donald, has been the mastermind thwarting me this last year, but I no longer think that. The real mastermind has been hiding in plain sight, acting the fool in order to lull us into underestimating him. It's been Joe this whole time.
Rob, you're definitely off the mark here. I mean, just yesterday, Joe spent 45 minutes trying to eat a wax apple when we were making a fruit tier list.
Not even trying. Joe successfully ate that whole apple.
Wax has a lot of nutrients.
All a con, all smoke and mirrors.
And the fact that Joe trips over the rug in Barack's den every time he's there, that's smoke and mirrors too?
Naturally.
Okay, believe what you're going to believe, I guess. Can you get back to the story, Joe?
You've all done a commendable job tonight, continuing to play even during the panic. But it's clear the ship is going down, and I think we only have time for one more piece. I've decided that it's going to be Nearer My God to Thee. A hymn seems appropriate after all, but since it's not part of our normal repertoire, I will be handing out sheet music.
We're here, the boat deck.
I can't believe this was your grand plan.
Hey, the Chinese guys had wigs too, and their people invented stuff at some point, I think, so they clearly know what they're doing.
I know you saw those guys with wigs, but these ones were, already in your suitcase, weren't they?
Well, yeah, why?
Does that mean you always travel with 3 women's wigs?
I do, yes, sometimes even more.
That's pretty weird.
Don't forget that I'm the one saving your life. Now let's hurry up.
Old lady in the brown wig, wait up a moment.
Old lady, I'll have you know I'm only 43, which is barely into old age these days. Also, this is definitely my real hair, so what do you want?
You just bumped into me, causing the sheet music for our final song to scatter into the ocean.
Sir, we're on a rapidly sinking ship. Is that really your biggest concern?
All I'm saying is that even in times of trouble, cordiality is important.
Well, whatever, I guess so. Sorry, man, to be honest, I'm a composer myself, so I feel for you. It's always a shame to lose sheet music.
Very well, I accept your apology.
Hey, you know, if it makes up for it, I carry a lot of sheet music at all times. Maybe I can give you some. What kind of song was it?
It was the hymn, Nearer My God to Thee.
Well, I don't have that, but I do have a hymn I wrote. I'm more of an opera composer, but I was just at my piano one day and figured, what the hell? If you want it, it's yours.
Would you really give it to us?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you said. Cordiality is important.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now please hurry along. I think there's still a boat or two.
You're welcome. Maybe we'll meet each other again on dry land.
I would give the world for such a meeting. Change of plan, gentlemen. We will now be playing the hymn, Make Haste, O Lord, by Frederick Trump.
I knew that was a guy.
Hey, anyone, are there any boats left? We're 3 first-class women in desperate need of saving.
Mr. Josen, is that you?
Oh no, this genius is gonna fuck us.
Mr. Josen, it's you. I knew it was. What a twist of fate. I got Lyla aboard a lifeboat. Are you proud of me?
I think you mean Mrs. Josen, young man.
Mrs. Josen? I didn't know Mr. Josen was married. He never mentioned it.
And you guys think black people are stupid.
Oh, yes, he is, Reginald.
You know my name?
Of course. My husband spoke of you often, and he told me to tell you that he's very proud of you for getting Lyla in a lifeboat, and he'd be even more proud if you helped me and my lady friends get in a boat too.
He would. Well, I must do it then. Officer Lightoller, these 3 women absolutely must get in this lifeboat.
Do they? Why exactly?
You can't tell? These 3 women are the wives of the most important men in America. Men who, even I with my vast wealth, wouldn't dare to cross. If you let them die, neither you nor your extended family will be safe from their revenge.
They look like ordinary women to me. In fact, they don't look much like women at all.
Are you really insulting a brother right now? I mean, a sister?
Is that a chance you want to take?
Fine, get in the boat, you 3, but be fast about it.
Damn, that worked. Maybe you're not such an idiot after all, kid.
Yeah, thanks for this one. If you make it out and want to come to my village, I'd hook you up big time. Hadija has a hot sister who's a little freaky.
Reginald,
You don't have to say anything, Mr. Biden. Just get in the boat. I'd always protect my valet.
Thank you, Reginald.
All right, lower away.
I know this song. It's Nearer My God to Thee.
No, it's that new popular song, Autumn. I'd recognise it anywhere.
It really is a pleasant night. Evening, Captain Smith.
Mr. Andrews, we keep running into each other tonight, don't we?
I fear this is likely the final time, Captain.
That's all right. I'd assume the boats are all gone, including the collapsibles.
That seems to be the case.
Then we're about to have an awful lot of time together from now on.
Evening, Captain Smith. Evening, Mr. Andrews. Evening, Officer Murdoch.
Officer Murdoch, you're here as well, content with a watery grave?
Yes, well, I considered jumping overboard like many of the rest of them, but I decided against it.
May I ask why?
I figured that it was an honor to serve with you, gentlemen, and it will be twice the honor to die with you.
It'll be quite the honor for me as well, Officer Murdoch.
So, what are 3 dead men to do, other than the obvious? Personally, I'm wondering if the other side has plays starring the incomparable Robert Robertson.
Well, if they do, we should take in a matinee sometime.
I'd like that.
What about you, Mr. Andrews? Do you want to come?
Yes, gentlemen, I'd like that very much.
God damn it.
It's you, the German. You've come back for one last confrontation, have you? Alrighty then. Raise your dukes and prepare to square up.
Shut up, dumbass. I'm far too tired for all that. I can't believe I let those idiots... Whatever.
Oh, okay then.
Did Lyla get aboard a lifeboat?
She did.
Good.
Joe Biden and the others did too.
Figures, luck always was on that one side.
Since we're about to die, do you mind my asking something?
What is it?
Why do you do this?
If by this you mean ruthlessly pursue justice, then the answer is simple. The world is far too small, and people are far too fragile to make room for assholes who think there are no consequences to their actions. And not just the people who do big things like murder and bank robberies, but even those people who cut in front of others like they aren't even there, or tell little boys that they'll never be police officers. I hate them. I hate them all. And I swore I'd never rest until they saw the evil in their ways or saw the inside of a coffin.
But don't you think your methods are often a little extreme?
Maybe, but I am a maverick after all.
Haha, you know, for a German, you're not so...
Sweet, merciful God, I'm alive.
Jack, we made it!
Did we? I feel so cold, Harold.
Back off, you mob. You'll sink us.
What are we doing sitting here? We should go and get some of them out of the water.
We can't, Mrs. Brown. They'll rush the boat and capsize us.
I think he's right.
Oh, you're all a pack of cowards.
Reginald, Robert, do any of you see a very dumb but kind-looking rich man or a bobby in the water?
Geez, these white people sure are complaining a lot. It's like it's their first time drowning.
Friend Bohine, do you see that thing over there?
Where? Oh yeah, it kind of looks like...
See, I told you guys that I would save you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Well, you definitely did. Thanks.
So does this mean that we're now like 3 best friends, destined to be together forever?
That's going to be a no from me, sorry. You're a cool guy, but I have a feeling I'd end up in way too much trouble if we kept hanging out. No offense.
None taken.
And I'm going to say no, too. I have to head back to my village. I have some unfinished business to take care of.
Onyango, I thought you were going to stay in America for a while.
Don't worry, Frederick. I want to end up in America eventually, but I have to first show Hadija and Akello and the rest of them that I'm no spineless wimp who runs away from his problems.
Good for you. I'm proud of you, Onyango, but don't take too long because I'll be waiting.
We'll meet again, Frederick, I promise.
Oh my God, guys, look.
Fuck me, the whole thing is splitting in half.
To think a ship like that could just vanish from the face of the earth, taking with it so many lives, so many stories, it's horrifying.
You know, in the millions of years I've been alive, I've seen so many people die. But I feel a kind of pang right now that I haven't felt in a long, long time.
Excuse me?
The story of my time on the Titanic ended as it always does. The ship went under. The survivors spent a long night, an eternity, sitting in those boats, waiting for a rescue that we didn't know for sure was even coming. Some of us didn't make it through. But in the end, an hour and a half too late, the RMS Carpathia arrived, and the 700 or so of us left were brought aboard.
Officer Lightoller, you made it.
Barely. I had to hang on to the hull of Collapsible B for dear life.
What about the other officers?
The captain, Wild, Murdoch and Moody all went down with the ship.
No, not Moody. He gave me his spot on a boat. He was supposed to get out.
I don't know what to tell you, Lo. That's just the way things went.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Oh my god, it's you. Yes, sit down, please.
I'm sorry, ma'am. But do we know each other?
What?
It's a little hard to believe, I'm sure. But you see, when the ship went down, I must have gotten a good knock on the noggin. I've completely forgotten who I am.
You can't be serious.
Indeed I am. But it's a miracle I'm alive at all. I was dragged half dead out of the sea by a couple of Chinese guys. These clothes I'm wearing now are just the rags they had lying around the ship. I suppose they wouldn't want a naked man aboard.
But that's incredible. Do you really not remember anything?
No facts, no. But I do remember that whatever my past life was, I wasn't very happy in it.
What do you mean?
I can't say. I think I must have been a very important man with a lot of responsibilities, like a lion tamer or shoe shiner. But getting back to my question, do you know me?
Well, in a way. I met you aboard the ship.
And who am I?
You are whoever you want to be, whatever would make you happy.
That's a fun way of looking at it. I wonder what would make me happy. I think I might like being a farmer in the South. Just an ordinary, hard-working man. That sounds like the life for me.
It sounds perfect to me, too.
And what about my name?
Your name? Oh, it's Todd.
Todd. I like that. From now on, every man in my family will be named Todd.
Well, maybe not every man, but I'll consider one or two.
Well, we're almost to America. I think this is where we part ways, boys.
I can't believe I have to get right back on a ship. Let's hope I have better luck this time.
You could always stay on Yango.
Frederick.
Yeah, I know. Just keep in touch, will you? I gave you my address, remember?
I won't forget to write.
What about you, old man? What's next for you?
I think I might see if Molly Brown is willing to hand out another one of those lifeboat BJs.
No, I think he meant like in life.
In life? I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be an adventure. And an adventure it was. Because not even 100 short years later, I met the grandsons of the two men beside me, and they became my best friends. The end.
Wow, Joe, that was something. That was really something. Not just the story itself, but the storytelling, too. I don't think I've ever heard you speak so intelligibly.
Yeah, good job, Joe. I was particularly impressed with the fact that you didn't have one questionable interaction with a child the whole time.
I mean, I left out a few days, Barack. There was plenty of time for me to be questionable with a child.
I knew that shoe was going to drop. But anyway, I feel you left some stuff out. Like what happened to Isme, the ship owner, and the other lookout. Did he make it?
The other lookout was named Reginald Lee. He made it, but died a year later from pneumonia. I mostly left him out of the rest because it'd have been weird to have two Reginalds. As for Isme, he lived a sad, isolated life. Whether or not he was responsible for the ship's sinking, he was vilified in the press as he had predicted. For years, he refused to speak about the Titanic, even to his family, only once saying to his grandson, "I was once in a ship which was believed to be unsinkable."
Damn, Joe, how can you remember quotes from guys you met once but can't remember how to tie your shoes most days?
It's the laces, Barack. I don't understand them, and I refuse to learn.
I also refuse to learn about shoelaces. They seem like a poor person thing.
But I think the big question that's on everyone's mind is what happened to Frederick and Onyango? Did they meet up in America?
To be honest, I don't know.
I do.
What, you do? Since when?
As Joe was telling the story, I realized that I had heard the name Onyango before, but I couldn't remember where. Suddenly it hit me. While I was researching my grandfather for Trump the Musical, I came across a letter he had from someone named Onyango.
Well, don't leave us in suspense. What did the letter say?
I'm not a nerd, so I don't remember it word for word, but it read something like, "Dear Frederick, I find myself thinking more and more about those few days we knew each other back in that world of glitz and glamour, that world which thought so much of itself that it believed it'd last forever. I'm sorry I haven't written, but I've been very busy. Upon returning home, I was greeted by all the pomp and circumstance that I'd hoped, but it felt hollow without you here. I had wished to come to America by now, but I got caught up in this big war, joining the King's African Rifles. Hopefully, when the world regains its senses, I'll be able to make something of myself like I've always dreamed. And when that day comes, I can't wait to see you again. Signed, your friend Onyango."
God damn, it's all true, isn't it? Joe's whole story actually happened. I can't believe it. So did you find anything else? What happened when Frederick and Onyango met up?
They never met up.
What? How do you...
My grandfather died on May 30th, 1918, a little less than 6 months before the end of World War I, and before Onyango would have had a chance to come to America.
After everything they went through together, they never got to see each other again? That's heartbreaking.
But don't you see? Their bond was so strong that it spanned generations. And while they never saw each other again, their grandsons became best friends. A fulfillment of the promise Onyango made.
Normally I'd call gay on something like that, but it's just so damn beautiful.
You may not call gay on it, but I certainly will.
Rob, seriously, what the fuck is your problem? Joe told a certified banger of a story, and you have to be a little bitch about it.
How is that a certified banger of a story? It ends with the bad guy getting away while the hero dies aboard the ship.
Ah, so you clearly thought Robert was the hero all along, didn't you?
Of course I did. He's the one trying to bring justice to the world, and he gets killed for it. What's so good about that?
Rob, I think I might know what the problem is here.
And what would that be?
You're much like Robert in a way. You're both mavericks with a strict sense of justice.
You're damn right.
But I think you're like him in another way, too.
Joe, I see where you're going with this, so just shut up. I don't need your mind games.
Rob, you were once the same little boy Robert was. Someone along the line, maybe many someone's told you you'd never be a cop, didn't they?
And they were right, I guess.
Shut up, Donald. And what does it matter even if they did?
It's very hard for a child to have their dreams crushed like that. I don't really remember my childhood personally, but I wonder if while I was with the Eons, I wanted to be a golf player or something, and I was told no way.
Is that your way of trying to relate to me?
Not exactly. It's my way of saying that I'm sorry for all the people who put you down, Rob. You could have been a great cop.
Joe, what the fuck are you saying?
Shh, Donald, just let him cook.
How about instead of wasting this police car hauling the three of us back to your hideout or whatever, you let us go, get out there, and prove them all wrong.
You know what, Joe? You're right.
How the fuck is this working?
I have more important things to do than deal with you three presidential fraudsters.
Rob, what are you saying?
I'm saying get the fuck out of my car before I change my mind.
Well, you don't have to tell me twice. Let's go, boys.
Joe, I must say, I'm impressed. You got us out of there unscathed.
What can I say? I may be old, but I still have a few tricks up my sleeve.
Yeah, great job. I just have one question.
What is it?
How do we get home?
Oh, well, I didn't think about that.
A starless night, a boat on the ocean, not disturbed by any motion from waves or a storm, a peaceful night. The world is sleeping, but the boat keeps on creeping towards our darkened phone. Who could foresee the dangers unknown when lights hardly shone on the surface? And how does one stop what's destined to be? Was it destined to be? Could no one prevent this? Why can't they save us? God must have meant this iceberg to shave us. He didn't think that we would sink this starless night, go ranting and raving. We all need our saving if we're meant to see
Come on, Haresh, it's time for the best day of our lives.
You know it, friend Bohayan.